In 1967, Adam West wore his Batman costume for the final time to film a secret project in London. This mysterious footage vanished for more than 5 decades, hidden so well that not even America's most passionate Batman fans or collectors knew it existed. Locked away in British archives and completely forgotten, the film resurfaced only in 2018 when it was accidentally uncovered during a search for lost television history. What Adam West revealed in that missing scene stunned viewers everywhere, proving that even the most recognizable superheroes could conceal dark secrets. Back in 1964, Ed Graham Productions had secured the rights to develop a Batman television series. Their plan was to create a straightforward Saturday morning adventure similar to The Adventures of Superman, a show CBS had broadcast in the 1950s for younger audiences. The production aimed to cast NFL linebacker Mike Henry, who would later become famous for playing Tarzan, as the first live-action Batman on television. By 1965, CBS appeared close to finalizing the deal, but after weeks of stalled negotiations, the network ultimately decided not to move forward. If the project had been greenlit, Batman might have been reduced to a tame children's program, potentially stunting the character's cultural impact for years. When Henry left the project to pursue Tarzan, the entire plan collapsed just before filming was set to begin. Ironically, this failure ensured that the world never saw a Saturday morning Batman, instead paving the way for the primetime version that would later explode in popularity. That same year, an unexpected event occurred at Hugh Hefner's Playboy mansion in Chicago. Hefner decided to host a screening of all 15 chapters of the old 1943 Batman serial. While the gathering seemed like a simple nostalgic party, filled with celebrities and socialites, it quickly turned into something far greater. Guests enthusiastically dressed up, shouted at the screen, booed the villains, and cheered during the action sequences. The unusual energy caught the attention of major outlets like the New York Times, which covered the screenings and highlighted the chaotic yet exciting atmosphere. Suddenly, Hollywood executives realized that Batman had fresh entertainment potential. What had once been considered a forgotten relic was now trendy again. Hefner's screening demonstrated that audiences were willing to embrace Batman's exaggerated style as legitimate fun. Without that moment, The Dark Knight might have remained buried in old film reels, ignored by popular culture. Capitalizing on the buzz, Columbia Pictures re-edited the 1943 serial into a single 4.5-hour film titled An Evening with Batman and Robin. It premiered at the Playboy Theater in Chicago and quickly spread to art house cinemas and college campuses across the country. Fans flooded theaters, with midnight screenings selling out and concession sales skyrocketing. Some venues even split the massive feature into 2 nights, showing 7 chapters on Saturday and 8 on Sunday. Reports described ticket lines wrapping around city blocks, with audiences attending in costume. The film's massive success stunned Columbia executives and caught the eye of ABC, which now had concrete proof that Batman could pull in enormous crowds. The numbers made the case clear. Batman wasn't just a nostalgic gimmick, but a bankable property. At ABC, a young executive named Yale Udoful stepped into the spotlight. A lifelong Batman fan, Udoful had been obsessed with the idea of bringing the character to television. After witnessing the craze in Chicago, he became even more convinced that Batman was destined for the small screen. At executive meetings, he pushed the idea relentlessly, famously shouting, "We ought to do Batman," to his superiors. Initially, his colleagues laughed him off, but Udoful refused to back down. He drafted a formal proposal for a stylish series that blended the sleekness of James Bond with the cool charm of the man from UNC. His persistence became legendary, so much so that some ABC executives admitted they began secretly reading Batman comics, hiding them inside business magazines during cross-country flights. In the end, Udoful's determination proved crucial in persuading ABC to take a risk on the character. When William Doier was hired as producer in 1966, he openly admitted something surprising. He had never read a comic book in his life. When he finally picked up a stack of Batman issues for research. He found them bizarre to the point of absurdity. Gadgets like shark-repellent bat spray and storylines involving Batman surfing against the Joker convinced him that the material could not be taken seriously. His solution was radical. Rather than producing a straightforward adaptation, he would transform Batman into a campy parody. This bold move aligned perfectly with America's growing taste for satire, already visible in the art world through figures like Andy Warhol and Roy Lichtenstein. The end result was unlike anything else on television at the time. Bright costumes, eccentric villains, and comic book-style pow and bam graphics became trademarks of the show's flamboyant style. Doisier's gamble paid off. When Batman premiered in January 1966, it immediately became a nationwide sensation. Not everyone embraced Doisier's comedic vision. Renowned espionage novelist Eric Ambler had initially been hired to write a feature-length Batman movie that would launch the series. However, as soon as he discovered Doisier's plan to turn Batman into a pop art comedy, Ambler walked away from the project. Known for his serious thrillers, he wanted nothing to do with satire. His sudden exit was highly unusual in Hollywood, where writers rarely abandoned such major assignments over creative differences. Casting was another crucial turning point. In 1965, 2 sets of screen tests were filmed, one with Adam West and E.A. Bert Ward, and another featuring Lyle Waggoner as Batman with Peter Diel as Robin. Waggoner, already a recognizable Hollywood figure, was considered the safer option. West, by contrast, was largely unknown. But when the tests were compared, side by side, West and Ward captured exactly the quirky, campy energy Dozier wanted. The studio took the risk, passing over the more established Waggoner. Although Waggoner later found success on The Carol Burnett Show and Wonder Woman, it was West and Ward who ultimately embodied Batman and Robin in a way no one else could. Adam. West's path to Batman was particularly unexpected. Producers first noticed him through a Nestlé Quick commercial, in which his dry, deadpan delivery proved he could handle ridiculous dialogue with complete seriousness. Dozier instantly recognized that this was the perfect tone for his Batman. On September 21, 1965, West officially signed his contract, beating out bigger names by demonstrating that rare ability to make Batman both serious and funny at the same time. This distinctive balance made his performance unforgettable. Meanwhile, Bert Ward was cast as Robin in 1966. Though he was 20 years old, the character was portrayed as a high school teenager. Ward's youthful appearance convinced audiences he was closer to 15 or 16. Determined to embody the boy wonder, Ward performed his own stunts, which led to a staggering 4 hospital visits during his first 5 days of filming. His willingness to take risks highlighted his dedication to the role. Fans speculated about his real age for years, but his athleticism and energy perfectly sold the character. The show also benefited from experienced stage actors who added dramatic weight to balance the wildness of the main duo. Alan Napier, born in 1903 and related to British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain, played Alfred. A graduate of the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, Napier had been acting since the 1920s and was 63 years old when he joined Batman in 1966. Neil Hamilton, who portrayed Commissioner Gordon, brought with him decades of experience from silent films and stage productions. Their gravitas grounded the show, creating a sense of seriousness amid the campy chaos. Long before the show aired, however, Batman carried controversial baggage. In 1954, psychiatrist Frederick Wertham published a sensational book called Seduction, of the Innocent. In it, Wertham claimed that Batman stories were psychologically homosexual. He argued that Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson's cohabitation, the absence of women in their home, and their close companionship painted Batman comics as fantasies about 2 men living together. Wertham even cited cases of boys confessing to him that they wished they could live with Bruce Wayne. He described the comic as a wish dream of 2 homosexuals living together, echoing the widespread paranoia of the 1950s Lavender Scare. His accusations lingered for years, casting a long shadow over the character. By the 1960s, when the Batman TV series exploded in popularity, producers and actors remained anxious that even small details could reignite the controversy. Dialogue, costumes, and storylines were scrutinized more carefully than perhaps any other children's show at the time, constantly monitored for unintended social meanings. The tension came to a head in 1967 when TV Radio Album magazine published a short but impactful article titled "The Whisper Campaign Against Batman and Robin." Though only 2 pages long, with the rest of the spread filled with glossy photos of the heroes in costume, the piece gave legitimacy to the rumors surrounding the characters' relationship and even Adam West and Bert Ward themselves. While the article outwardly denied the gossip, it slyly compared the actors to Liberace. The piece included a loaded remark. Though both of them must have heard the whispers, like Liberace some years ago, they are doubtless laughing all the way to the bank.